Guys, how are you? I'm fine. Happy to see some of you who have joined me for the first time and those who always follow me on here. We are live today on the Weekend Star Buffet. Today with American-born Otandeka Lachi. I played with her for the Sekafa Women Championships in 2016. Welcome with me, Lachi, guys. I am excited.
Hey, what up?
I'm all right.
How's it going?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah. Lachi, thank you for joining us on the show for the very first time.
I know, I'm excited. Woo! KG.
I miss those dances in like the national team camp, you know?
Yeah. Oh, good times. Good times.
Yeah. So Lachi, before we start today, I want to play a small game with you.
Oh, okay.
Twitter or Instagram, what do you choose?
Instagram.
Mom or dad?
Mom.
US or Germany?
US.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Juice or water?
Depends on the juice, but okay, water.
Okay, indoors or outdoors?
Outdoors.
Uganda or USA?
Well, I'm gonna go with I say USA.
Food or snacks?
Snacks.
Computer or phone?
Phone.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for everyone who has tuned in, guys. It's amazing. I already warned them that it's gonna be accent packed.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying my best. Relax.
But anyway, so how is lockdown treating you?
Oh my gosh. Like I want to like go home. I want to leave like my house. It's boring. Like the first month it was okay.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, oh my gosh, when are we gonna be allowed out?
Do you know what? I was seeing a lot of campaigns in the first 1 month, 2 months. Everyone saying, guys, stay in, wash your hands and everything.
Yeah.
And now you're not seeing anything because people are fed up of staying indoors. Everyone is asking, excuse me, when are we getting out of our houses?
Yeah. Exactly.
So are you training at the moment?
Yeah, actually I still am because I have like a small gym in my basement, and then I'm allowed to go, we can go to parks at least. So I have some space, I have my soccer balls, I can still shoot. And my cousin is actually with me, so he's like, he plays the goalie, and then I like practice my shots on him. So
okay. That's
nice.
Interesting. So how did you start playing football as a little girl?
Oh, well, in the beginning, I think I started when I was, I think 5. And actually, at first, my dad was the one. He's the one that like he forced me and my brothers to play, and I thought soccer was very stupid. I was like, this sucks. I had a really bad team when I first started, so I was like, this is really awful. I hate it. But then when I moved to New Jersey, and then when I was 7, I just suddenly got really fast, and that's when I started liking it, and I started winning. So I was like, yeah, this is nice. I like winning. I like shooting and scoring. So yeah, that's when it started.
Did you find it difficult because young girls have had it really tough to break through in the this male-dominated sport? Did you find it really hard as a young girl to get into the sport and get to play football and something?
I guess. Okay. Well, no. I guess here it's different than like other countries, but at least my first team when I first was 5, I played with boys. That was the only time I ever played with boys. It was mixed, and it was here it's easy. Definitely, as you get older, then it's more challenging as a girl in the States because there's limited. We only have one professional league in the States, and that's hard for us to get into. Like, if I really want to play here, I'll have to, like, work really hard, and there's only for the girls' league. There's only 9 teams. So
Mm.
and there's 50 states. So there's 9 teams in all of the country, and it's really competitive. But I really want to play here
Yeah,
because yeah, I mean, Germany was fun, but I would like to stay closer to
to home.
like yeah, to home, my friends, my family.
A lot of Ugandan girls have gone to play in the US, and some of them, without knowing what actually or what is the setup there, some of them think it's professional football.
Uh,
The professional league, I know, but sometimes when we are back in Uganda, we are so focused on going pro that we get so many mistruths and misinformation. So I think you are the right source to tell us the truth about the college setup in American football, or soccer, as you guys call it. Um, so is it? Can you tell me about the college setup of football in the US and how girls or women break through to go and play for the professional setup?
for the most part, you go to college or university, and in university, there's like 3 divisions. The first division, second, and third. The first one is the best. They have because they have the most money and they can pay you while you're in college for playing soccer. And that's when some people can go to school for free because either they're really really smart or they're playing a sport for that school. So you want to play Division 1 because one, you're playing like the best competition you're playing other colleges that are really good, and then also you get the most amount of money towards your schooling. And then second division, they're not allowed. There's rules, so they're not allowed to give you like a full scholarship. So you would have to maybe they could give you half a scholarship for whatever sport you're playing and half for school. And then third division, they can't give you money for sports, but if you're smart, they can give you some money. So basically, for the most part, you have the best players in the first division, then usually third and second. Uh, there's some schools that are still good, but for the most part, first is the best. And then once you're done with college or like after 4 years, then then there is the draft. There's when the professional teams are looking, they get to see the games of everybody playing. They're always picking people in Division 1. So you if you like if I was playing in college and um, maybe I scored like 100 goals my whole career, and they watch you, they see your statistics and everything, so I could be picked to get drafted for then a professional team. So, but then if you don't get picked for the draft, it's a little hard. You can apply again next year. I think you have until 4 years out of college to try to get drafted by a professional team, and if not, then it's easier just to go abroad and like go to a different country
Yeah.
and do what I did because it's really hard. But it's yeah, when you're in college, it's not professional. It's still you're considered an amateur, and then only once you get picked by a team. But then there are some people who don't even go to college, and if they're just really good from their club team that they played for, they actually get picked up from that, and they get picked right away, and you don't have to go to college for it. But it's easier just to go to school first, and then get seen. But it's kind of hard because like how many schools? There's so many schools in the U.S. because there's 50 states. Every state has, let's just say, like 50 colleges and universities, and then so it's hard, but it's nice.
You know, you explaining it to me properly, I understand it, and I think it's good for supporting women who love to join their education with the football, which is really important for young girls anyway. It's good, but I can see how tough it can be to get into the professional setup, and then since in the US when you're playing in the league you easily get scouted for the national team. It's really, really tough to get into the national team. But that's why the US is the best team in the world, because they are collecting the cream of the cream. You know,
Basically.
that is,
Yeah.
and they have a good youth setup right from the schools and
Yeah.
academies. And I think even if it's a disadvantage for many players who want the fast money, but I
Yeah.
think it's good for developing players who want to have a career in football and become
Yeah.
great people in the sport. You played with me on the national team in Sekafa
Yeah.
2016. I think it was an amazing experience. But I want to ask you, how was that experience for you?
The truth. Initially I was like, oh, this is cool, like, oh, Uganda, like, yay, and and then of course I met you, so that was nice, and I would say the I overall I yeah, okay, I liked it. I liked it in the beginning, but then I guess the things I didn't like, or the things that I thought were like shocking, was like, okay, we're it was a little unorganized in the beginning. The team manager was like, "Oh, come to the training field, not the FUFA house." And he
Remember?
was,
Yeah.
yeah, like I was so confused. I was like, which one is it? Because the coach said to come to the field. That was when we were supposed to leave and go to Jinja. And then all of a sudden, like, there was so much confusion. There's some girls that came by Boda Boda, had their suitcases, and then me, my cousin drops me off, but I didn't have a ride back because I thought I was leaving to Jinja that day. So it was very confusing. I was like, what's
You know,
going on?
the viewers need to listen to this story. So basically, that time we had to go to the national team camp,
Yeah.
and they had given us a small taxi, which
Yeah.
fits in like 5 people, but we were like, I don't know, 20 something.
Yeah.
So, I want to be nice. I went to join in the taxi myself because I
Yeah.
knew you were going to find us there. And I bought a big suitcase, too. In fact, a big suitcase, very big with so many things in it. So when I reached the taxi, I see all the girls having small bags, like
Yeah. I was like,
backpacks. So I asked everybody, guys, I thought we are going to come for a week. Why are you holding just small bags?
yeah.
So I realized that, people don't carry stuff there. Because for me, in my big suitcase, I had my foam roller, I had a lot of clothes to change, I had my protein, I had,
Yeah.
you have everything for recovery in there. So I was wondering, how is everybody going to survive on a small a bag of
Backpack.
two clothes in it?
Yeah.
So that was like a really funny experience for me. So first of all, my bag couldn't fit in the small taxi, so I was very embarrassed. Uh, I was thinking, oh god, everybody's thinking, oh, just because you are professional, you think
Yeah.
you're gonna have a big bag and we have a small bag. That was really, yeah, that was crazy.
I was confused because I was thinking like, okay, we're going to camp. It's going to be at least a month, like minimum. So we do need all of our things. And then and then I think only we had the really big suitcases, and everybody else had like a small bag. And I was like, okay.
I know. I remember for you, the first days were quite challenging. Oh, you've never stayed in Uganda before.
By
Uh,
myself, at
First
least.
time there, you're trying to get to know the girls. You can't speak the language.
Yeah,
So
that was
it was
hard.
really difficult for you. And
Yeah.
then we moved on to camp in Jeru, and we had this whole challenge of the coordinator telling us, do not sleep with your friends, do
Yeah.
not have your phones,
Yeah. That
have
was weird.
how was that experience for you? Do you think it's the ways of living for these women in national team camps, should they be better than what we experienced at that point?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like 100%. Like everything needs to be better. Like especially since this is the national team. This isn't just a small junior team that you take for fun. Like this is supposed to be it's supposed to be an honor and like a privilege to play for your country. So the fact that the organization was really off and it was just like so poorly coordinated, in my opinion, I was I was shocked. This is the first time it was just me, and it was I thought it was like weird that they wanted to take our phones and they were trying to run it like a Nazi camp. They're like, oh, you can't sleep with your friends, you have to be here. Like I was like, okay, calm down. We're all old enough to know that we have to go to sleep at a proper time and then wake up because we trained like 3 times a day. So obviously we need rest. And it was just weird how they were trying to control every aspect. And then the location itself, like the field was fine, but like where we were sleeping, I thought that was not that great for a national team. I think the other countries had a better stay. Like they had a nice hotel when we went swimming that one time. I was like, why couldn't we do that? Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, because most people used to bite us in the night, one day.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, I thought like our place is. It wasn't bad, but it was just like for a national team, I thought like this isn't like a place for grown women to be staying. So I thought that was weird too, because like it's about everything. The way like okay, training and playing is important, but also the preparation is important too. So if we're staying in places that are like I don't know, the bathrooms were like, eh. For me, I'm very picky. Whenever I travel, if I don't like the bathroom situation, I'm going to be very upset. Yeah, this one wasn't so bad, but like the second time when we met and we had to go to Sakafa again and it got canceled, that place I was not happy. That was disgusting. I don't care what anybody says. That was terrible. I don't know what school it was. I was like, this is wildly inappropriate.
We are speaking about these conditions for women in national team camps that need to get better. Through our experiences, we didn't really have the best. But speaking about that and moving away for the first time we were there for Secafan Championships, the style of play, how was it easy or difficult for you to get used to that? And was it easy for you to get stuck in and get used to the whole thing?
Um, like the first time I was
Yeah,
there, it was I was a little confused because when I play, at least for me, I like to have like a plan and like an idea of what we're good at. Like if I see someone's really, really fast, maybe I like to make sure that they always get like, like a long ball across and maybe lead them into scoring. Or if I see like maybe somebody's really good at dribbling, I'd like to give them the ball and like work with them in the middle more. Personally, I like the build up. I like when we're all passing. I don't like just like going forward and running. Like I like to have like a plan, and I think it needs to look good. So I would say tactically, I was really lost because I wanted to play more smart, but then most of the girls there, and you too, you wanted to play more smart, but then like most of the girls there, I don't blame the girls. I blame honestly, it's really the coaching when it comes down to it. They were just like, oh yeah, just go, like run, just run. Yeah, I was like, why are we treating this like a marathon when we're playing soccer? Like you need to have tactics. You can't just always just go forward, kick the ball forward and lose it like like you have to keep it. And that was something that was kind of hard because I wanted to whenever I got the ball, I wanted to like show that we don't always have to go forward. Like we can pass it backwards and sometimes we can keep it longer. But for them it was just like, no, just keep going. Just throw the ball. Someone will get there because everyone is so fast. So like someone will get there.
And I think I was going to say, Lashi, because we had our first training when we went to Uganda for that first time playing for the national team. And I remember you went out of breath. It was quite difficult because we were running so hard, just so many cons. But the difference is the girls were so fit, and the warm up used to make us so tired.
Yeah, I was
like the warm up itself. It's we're
it's
out
like
of
another game
after the warm up. It's like the first half of the match. So that was quite challenging. But when it came to tactics, it was difficult.
Yeah,
We all
yeah,
didn't know how to play. It was a challenge for myself because I was playing in the holding midfield role, and I'm so
yeah,
used to this whole thing is you move like this, you move as a unit, as a team, and drop off as a team. But it was tough because you can't move as a unit if the rest of the team are just
yeah.
moving everywhere.
Everybody was just doing, like, just moving in a. It just didn't make sense, and the coaches, they stressed being in shape more than having having like tactics and ideas. Like we were like, I thought we were training for the military. I didn't know we were even playing soccer. Sometimes it was so tiring just to be like just running back and forth, and like
Yeah.
a lot of the times I felt like a lot of the times weren't we just running without the ball? So I was like, what is this?
Yeah. Try to get used in the shortest time possible, and we did our best. You scored your first goal for the national team.
Yeah, that was
And
nice.
um, it's a good time now to speak about what's going on because we have to ask ourselves: have we moved on through those 4 years to now? I think things are getting better now, but there is more that still needs to be done. But I want to talk about your second experience on the national team. How was that?
uh,
We trained for the viewers. We went back to Uganda to play for the national team. We were in camp for about what 5 6 days, 7 days.
yeah, yeah,
uh, we didn't have our phones, uh,
yeah. That was also
so they had
ridiculous.
taken our phones off us. And
Yeah,
on the last day, we find out that the Sikafa Championship had been cancelled.
yeah,
But good enough, like me, obviously, living in the UK, I cannot live without my phone. So I had two
yeah.
phones and I snuck in one.
Smart.
So me and Lachi used to kind of, so
Instead
you don't tell
of talk to the outside.
you do not tell the coach.
Yeah,
So yeah, she came and asked for our phones, took them, and yeah, I had mine. So me and used to communicate on there. But how is that even normal for kids, for women, grown up women who have children and families, not to have
yeah.
phones in the national team camp? I feel like it's
That
not
was,
a good thing because you need to keep in touch with your loved ones to encourage you on days
yeah,
down.
that's
Just
true.
keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was really weird. Like, I don't know why. I have no idea why they think the phones are so important. Like, the main thing you should be focusing on is like our training.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why they like that second time. Like, even though we were there for a shorter time, I thought the second time was like the
It was
worst.
terrible, yeah.
It was really bad. It
What
starts
made
first
it
of
bad
all.
for you the most?
Oh wait, yeah. What was the worst thing for me? I would say, okay, okay, the location where we were, I don't know what university we were.
Terrible though, wasn't
It
it?
was really gross. Like no, that facility wasn't nice, like at all.
Bathroom, the toilet,
Yeah,
the
it was,
sleeping conditions.
yeah, there was like, what, like
Seriously,
10 of us
I
in a
think it
room?
needs to get better. Like that was really
Yeah,
bad.
that was really awful. Like,
Yeah.
even the place we were training, the grass was like a meter high. You couldn't even you couldn't even play. Like it was. I was like, this is awful. I I don't know. I guess whenever I go to Uganda, especially when I'm alone, I try not to um, complain a lot because I don't want people to think like, oh, she's just from the U.S. She, like, I
Yeah.
don't want to think it's like that, but it's just like, no,
Sometimes it's
yeah, like some
good
things
to
are
keep
inappropriate.
all the times, but this is not really negative. I feel it's more like
Yeah,
constructive feedback.
yeah, it's
Things need to get better, especially for women who have worked really hard to make the
exactly.
national team, the
Yeah,
senior national team. Because if you see the men are sleeping in like hotels, and it's not a comparison
yeah.
game, but I think these women deserve better than what we actually get.
It sounds like I'm just being like, oh, this was awful, but it's like, for what it was, okay, if it was like something else, I wouldn't be upset. But it's like the fact that this was for like a national team, that's why it's bad. Like, it's really messed up that you have, like, yeah, the guys are in hotels. The girls should be in hotels. Like, you have to have good facilities. You have to have competent leaders in charge. Like, that's all part of it. Like, like, because yeah, these girls, like I even forgot there were actually people who were mothers and
Yeah,
stuff there, and that was what, like for me, like they, I know they paid us a little bit. Like I wasn't there for the money, but it's
yeah.
like think about the other people that are literally leaving jobs just because they really like playing soccer and they, want to represent Uganda, and they're being, I feel like they're kind of they're
Yeah.
not being treated the way that they should
I
have it.
can tell
I
you that, regarding all those experiences you've had 2 times now on the national team, would you still accept to play for the Uganda national team? Would you still love to get that call up and play for Uganda?
um, I really do think so. No, there's like, yeah, no, I wouldn't, because I actually want to focus more on trying to play for
The
um
US, yeah?
yeah, so because that was actually my dream when I was younger. Like I always like wanted to play for the US. I wanted to go to the
Mm,
Olympics and the World Cup. And
yeah.
honestly, like I feel bad because if Uganda was where it's supposed to be, I wouldn't mind playing for Uganda. But the fact that it is so, and it's not just Uganda, of course. There's some countries like they're just so behind, where like it this year it's 2020. So it's like there's, like I know not everyone's going to be like the best or anything, but it's just like there's a point where I think we should be, and we're not going to be there for a long time because you have mismanagement, and if you're going to be treating these girls like taking them for granted and just giving them 5,000 shillings for like a whole month being in camp, like it's just eventually people are going to be discouraged and are not going to want to play for the country, which is sad because usually like it's supposed to be a really big honor. So like, mm, I I personally wouldn't, but I guess yeah, no, I don't, not because I don't like Uganda, just because I think it really should be like it should be like a
Higher
lot.
than it is right now. Yeah. What personally hurts me for me is we want to be positive, and but also we want to speak the truth for the better of our country,
Yeah.
because I believe that so many young girls there, they deserve a voice. Most of them are scared to speak the truth. You remember we used to play
Oh
with
yeah.
girls who had injuries because they were
Yeah.
afraid to speak up,
It,
so it's
yeah, and that's
quite,
weird.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
it's quite something that in Uganda seems like when you say something, it's not the right thing to do. But I do hope many girls come out and speak about these facts, because when we do and talk about these things are
yeah.
going to be done. I want to also ask you, playing. Are you still playing for the German team?
No, not currently. I was supposed to come back in what month? I guess March, but then everything got like shut down, so
Mm,
couldn't travel. So while I'm here, I'm just still training, and uh, I could go back to Germany, but I want to try to play in the States first before.
okay.
Yeah,
Do you find that transition and balancing life away from family, is it easy for you?
for me, yeah, it was pretty easy.
Mm.
Just because I as much as I hate traveling by plane, like I do like traveling, and
Mm.
I like being in new situations and places. And I was actually learning
Oh,
German when I was there, so
oh,
it was,
that's good.
I liked it. Yeah, I liked it
Because
a lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
can speak a bit of German. Yeah.
I, yeah, it's actually a pretty cool language. It's nice, but
Yeah, yeah. Now I want to ask you, do you think that women's football in Uganda has a chance of growing, and do you have a time frame for that?
yeah, okay, yeah, definitely. Anything has a chance for growing. I think the time frame, I think it's going to take longer than um than we would want it to. Like it's not going to be something that's like, oh, next year everything's going to be great, because it really starts from management down. So it's they're going to have to there's gonna have to be less corruption. Like, if you really want change, people are actually going to have to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And it's so easy, especially when you're dealing with women, it's so easy to just take advantage of that aspect and just be like, oh, it's just the girls, I'll just keep this money. But it's like, it's more than that. You're actually affecting the whole country. Like, it's really cool to participate, not just in soccer, but in other sports too. Like, it's really nice to, like, sports in general is important, so you need to promote that, and it makes the country better too. Like, so I think the improvement, it really depends if people are going to actually do the right thing and invest more, like give us more money for like good equipment, better coaching, better facilities, then you can work with the actual, you can change, like, the actual playing like style, like you can, like, but it has to start from up.
Functions off the field, yeah.
Yeah, it's more, yeah, it's really not even about the actual girls playing. It's more of it is the thing that's affecting us.
Things are actually administrative, aren't they?
Yeah, mostly,
Because
yeah,
the
that's,
girls some of them are really talented, aren't they?
yeah. I actually was like really shocked, like, because when I'm here, I'm considered like someone fast. So then you go to Uganda, literally everybody is really
Everybody's
fast.
really
And
fast, aren't they?
I'm like,
Oh,
oh my gosh, yeah, everyone's so quick, and it's just like yeah, like definitely, even just when the first time I went, and even the second time, like I saw the improvement in the goalies and some of the defending. I was like, oh wow, these guys just definitely, they're really smart. They learn very quickly. So the girls is not the problem. It's really the
admin.
staff that's the problem. Yeah, that's why it's like that's why, depending on that, I would say it's going to be uh maybe like 5 to 10 years until we see some drastic change, because people really have to make an effort to, you know, to promote the game and stop taking money from the women's side and actually give it to them, or else it's not.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But as we conclude this, Lashi, do you have any advice for the young girls in Uganda who would love to play in America or in Germany or play pro one day, just like yourself?
uh hmm, any advice? Hmm. Actually, okay. I don't know. I'm not really good at giving advice. I'm not wise. But I would say, uh, definitely, uh, I guess okay. You get what you put in. So if you really like, if you want to be professional, you gotta train like want to be professional. Like, you have to train like that. It comes to like eating right, training properly, and yeah, just a lot of discipline. So I would say anyone can really, um, anyone can really, uh, I would say, yeah, anyone can, honestly, for the most part, anyone can do what they really would love to do. You just have to put the right amount of effort, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can end up in like a really, really good situation playing in the US or Germany, or even if Uganda changes and everything is great, you can play in Uganda, because
Yeah,
that's cool. It would be
yeah.
fine. It's
And things
just,
are changing slowly by well, slowly by slowly.
no,
But
yeah.
that's amazing. Do you have any reason why you didn't speak to anybody?
Yeah, my reason, like the staff and how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the only reason I didn't say anything was because I, when whenever I go to Uganda or any country, whenever I go, people automatically think, like, they have this idea that Americans are like, they really like Americans or they really hate them. So for me, um, I don't want to offend anybody, and I don't want them to think that trying to I don't want them to think that I think I'm better than them, so I'm just like coming to correct them all the way from the US. So I try to just blend in, do whatever everyone else is doing, eat all the matoke and everything, like what everybody else is doing. I don't want to stick out even more than I already do. So,
You know,
but
great. But also, I think the other reason is sometimes in these women football camps, we don't really have the right people to speak to. Because if you remember, the people who are with us, we had an old, okay, I don't want to say old, but you know, people who are not so qualified to be with women. So
yeah,
I do hope that the country changes and puts people or coordinators with the national team who are actually qualified to work with the national team. It's not a matter of putting somebody just because they are your friends or they are very
yeah,
experienced in the game. You know,
yeah,
it has to be someone who understands how to speak to these women when they have an issue. You know, someone who can be a fatherly or motherly figure. So I think these are some of the small things that can be changed and made tweaks to make the team a lot better.
yeah. That too, because especially I think, because it's like if you don't have a as a player, if you don't have a good relationship with the coach or the other staff, it feels weird. Like even if you're on a very successful team,
Mm.
whatever, like it does cause a lot of like problems, and it does like everything. It really is from the top to bottom. Like if I really hate my coach, like even if I'm the best player in the world, that's going to I might not sign with that team again. Like I might leave. So you want to make sure the players are happy. Like you have to take care of them in a way. So if you want the best results, so yeah, you need. It's just everything. Yeah, I would say okay, not everything has to change, but it's like there has to be some big improvement if you
Most
want to
things need
get
to change.
good results.
Most
Yeah,
things in administration need to change.
definitely. Yeah, it's so yeah. It was so weird. I never thought like when I was younger. I always just thought like, oh, soccer is like it's a game. But then when you get older, it's really when we were at the camps, everything was mainly about like the coaching staff. It was about whoever was coordinating our
The
like
game and
yeah,
tension.
a
Did you
lot.
feel the tension for our first game? What is actually in the dressing room is a lot of chaos. You know,
Yeah,
we're supposed to be focusing on the team, and we are worried if the jerseys are in the dressing room.
yeah.
We're
I was like,
worried if,
God, come
you
on, man. Yeah, that's not
know.
something.
Anyway, at the end of the day, we've been here to speak about these issues, and I do hope that these small things will be done to make the game get better for women's football, not just in Uganda, but
Yeah,
Africa and everywhere else in the world, because this is what we
yeah.
want for women's football.
True. And I have a theory that if all African nations were like where they were supposed to be, I think actually I'm pretty sure we have like the best athletes in the world in
Exactly.
whatever sport. So if we were like think about it, if we really were where we had to be, we would win every Olympics, every World Cup, like everything because
Exactly.
Africans are probably the best people in the world. Like
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it. I said it. We're the best.
it's true though.
We really are. So the fact, like, that's why it's even more frustrating because it's like we have so much. We're like sitting on so like so much talent, and then we're prettier, and it's just like we're so good, and it's just like they're throwing it away
Yeah.
just because like. But yeah, it's oh man, man. If everything was like up where it's supposed to
Yeah.
be, there would be no stopping any African nation. So.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Lashi, there. And this has been really interesting. And actually, I've learned a lot from you. So thank you so much. This has been quite an amazing chat.
Thank you.
Really,
Thank
it
you.
went a lot better than what I even thought it would go. Because we talked a lot, we've talked about issues that need to actually be done for women's football. So thank
Yeah.
you very much there. I've really enjoyed this and thank you so much for coming on this show. Thanks so much for all our viewers. I hope you did enjoy and actually you did understand what
I hope
we're
so.
talking about.